So yes, today we're in a 2017 Mercedes C43 AMG. And I know these cars tend to be looked down upon because obviously the newer models, the C63s, are out there for nearly a similar price range. These C43s, I'll tell you now, my missus actually drives one of these, and these cars are no slouches. I'll tell you that right now. They're not to be looked down upon just because it's not a 63. These 43s have got some characteristics about them that go like a C63 as well. Yes, it's a tiniest bit down on power, but it's 4-wheel drive, 3-litre bi-turbo engine rather than a 4-litre. This V6, I know the C63s are known for the sound, but guys, just listen to this. You got the crackles from the exhaust on the shifts and on the diesel. If you're in the market for one of these, this one that I'm sat in right now is available at LA Motors. So if you're interested in one of these, make sure you get down to LA Motors and come grab this one. We're based in the West Midlands. But yeah, let's take a deeper look into it. These cars just run shy of 400 brake horsepower. We have a 9-speed gearbox, which is really responsive. You ready? Shift. Wow, just listen to the exhaust. Sounds so good with the 4-wheel drive system. You get it all to the road, all of it. There's no spin, loads of grip. So right now we're running in the Sport Plus, and that gives you faster shifts. It also holds the gears for a little bit longer, but we have multiple driving modes in this thing. Let's go through them right now, the driving modes. So right now we're in Sport Plus. We're gonna go down to Eco. Eco, that turns the automatic stop-start on. This is your most fuel-efficient mode. These old ladies right now, they're not gonna get disturbed by the amazing sound of this exhaust, so that's all good. Eco is a very economical mode, obviously. The revs stay low, the valves close, you can't hear anything. Nice and silent for your cruise. But that's boring. When you get one of these cars, you don't want to be in Eco all the time. You want to hear that 3-litre scream. So we'll switch it up now. We're in Comfort. It rides the gears a little bit less than Eco does, and you get a little bit of a sharper throttle response. It's just a little bit more. It's not too much difference. Let's get out of Comfort. Comfort's boring. It's not too much difference to Eco. Sport. Here we go. The gears just dropped. Suspension is now in Sport. The ride is now stiffer. The kick down is a little bit quicker. You don't get the snappy gear shifts like you do when you're in Sport Plus. So now we're in Sport Plus. The valves open. You get the burbles on the exhaust and the snappy gear shifts, which you can now hear. Almost instant shifts. But anyway, I haven't really gave it anything yet. The car's fully warmed up. Nice straight 60 road, 20 mile an hour. It's not, okay, in the top end, yes, the C63 is a lot more powerful, but the initial kick, because there's no spin and it's 4-wheel drive, it throws you straight back in your seat. And the handling is very responsive. Only little movements in the steering wheel to make big corrections in the corners. You don't need to turn the wheel a lot. You don't need to fight it. Another little road here. Let's put the suspension in the comfiest setting. We're on our typical bumpy road that we take these cars down. Very calm and collected. Very comfy. Let's put it back into the sportiest setting. Yes, you can definitely feel it. It's a little bit more rigid now. And also, not only do we have Sport Plus, doesn't end there. We also have individual mode. So individual, like any other hot hatch or any other sports car, you can set your own mode. So in individual, you can change things like the fan speed, the auto stop start if you want that to be on. You can change the steering, the suspension, and the engine. With the steering, obviously your sportier settings will make the steering a lot more stiffer. You can change the suspension from Comfort to Sport Plus. Obviously Comfort being your most comfiest, making those bumps nice and comfy for you, but obviously you get a lot of roll in the corners. But you can change that when you put it up into the Sport and Sport Plus settings. It gives you a lot less roll in the corners and actually stiffens up the suspension. And you can also change your engine. So not literally, but you can literally change how responsive you want it to be, the exhaust valves. You can change pretty much everything. So Comfort, I'll put my foot down. Doesn't go down the gears, nice and quiet. Still get a lot of power though. But if we go into Sport Plus and then do a nice kick down, you ready? Drops the gears and you're off. And the gear shifts are so ferocious. I just smacked my head off the headrest. Talking about these headrests, inside the headrests we have these beautiful leather AMG seats which hold you in very, very nicely. And the interior on this thing, it is not much difference to the C63. It's pretty much the exact same. You've got the upgraded sound system in here, you've got the beautiful leather stitching, we've got the massive pan roof. This is a good alternative to a C63. Very good. Anyway, we're in first. I'm just going to give you a little 50% throttle. No spin whatsoever. It grips. I've drove C63s and it would be spinning right now. Absolutely insane. Traction control settings, like most C63s, you can have it in sport, which gives it like 50% traction. So you can have a little bit of spin, but it's still going to control you when you give it a little bit too much spin. Or you can hold it and that will turn it off completely. But it's pointless because you get grip. That was off. It's no different. You can keep the traction on so you get saved when you do miss up. It still grips. You don't get that in a C63. Yes, if you like sliding about, go for the C63. I've talked to you about, I've told you pretty much everything I can tell you from here. What's it actually like to live with? So I'm going to pull over right now. I'm going to put the GoPro on my head so you get a nice POV of what I'm seeing when I'm sat in one of these cars. We're going to go through the interior a bit now. Let's do that. So welcome to the interior on this beautiful C43 AMG. Anyway, straight away you agree with this beautiful leather steering wheel with these really nice black paddles on the back, red stitching on the inside of the steering wheel. You've got these multifunction settings on here, so if you click home you can pretty much access everything on this center screen here. So trip, navigation, radio, media, telephone, assistance graphics, service settings, and AMG mode, which is my personal favorite. Click OK. We can now see how much boost we are using. So as you see, put the foot down, about half boost, just in that 50% throttle pull right there. You've got your temperature gauge, your gearbox temp. These seat belts, as you can see, we have got red seat belts. Very nice contrast with the red stitching on the steering wheel, the top of the leather dash, the leather door cards. As you can see, we've got red stitching pretty much everywhere. Memory seats on the side. We've also got heated seats. We've got a massive pan roof, as you can see. I'm just going to open that right now, drop a few gears. Just give you a little pull right now. Listen to it. Also, if you click it again, we have a sun visor, so you don't get too much heat on your head top, and also it stops the sun from coming in and bleeding your eyeballs. Moving across, we have climate control settings along here, as well as other settings down here, your hazards, your nav, same things you access on the center screen. This little scroll wheel right here, you can access your different modes. So as I was talking about earlier, your Sport Plus, which downshifts the gear for you, and you're off. You've got your Sport, which is kind of an in-between of Comfort and Sport Plus, and your Comfort. Let's take a little chilled drive now while I talk to you about the interior. So you've got your valved exhaust button right here, opens the valves up, you get them nice crackles that I mentioned earlier, and also the farts from the gear changes, and you get a louder tone so you can hear that 3-litre scream. You've got the gearbox setting here, you can switch it from manual to automatic. So if we click it again, let's go in manual. Now we're in full manual mode. Very responsive, as I mentioned earlier. And you also have a suspension button here, so click it once, AMG Ride Control Sport. If you click it again, we are then in Sport Plus. But I'm trying to stay nice and relaxed, so we're keeping that on. And we also have your traction control button. We also have a little touchscreen mouse pad here, which is what it almost feels like in your hand. It feels like a mouse, but it's touchscreen, and what you can actually do, this is actually the way you move around the entertainment system. Once again, it's quite a basic entertainment system, but very easy to use. It's got a scroll wheel under here, change all your vehicle settings, your consumption, everything that you need to know. Loads of space. We've also got rear climate control, and the seats in the rear are so nice. The red leather seat belts follow into the rear, so does all the red stitching and the leather door cards. This is actually the 5-door version also, so you do get that little extra space in the rear. Loads of boot space. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to give you a little 1-minute segment of a POV drive, just so you can experience it without me waffling. We're in Sport Plus right now, and we're going to drop the windows a bit, and we're just going to have a 1-minute silence for the C43. I'll say silence, but we're going to be listening to the exhaust. and just so you can understand what it's actually like to drive. But yeah, here we go. So yes guys, the C43 is no slouch, as I've already mentioned. If you're interested in this car, come down to LA Motors and come grab it. We're based in the West Midlands. It's an absolute animal. If you think the C63 is a bit too much for you, and you think the V8 is a bit too much, and you want a cheaper alternative, this is the one. Wow. But yes guys, I've been Spencer. Hope you've enjoyed this video. What an absolute beast this car is. To sum it all up in one, it's a great alternative to the C63, but you can actually make it to 30 miles an hour with your foot down without going like this. So I like it. I'd love one of these personally. I mean, I have a C63 myself, and yeah, this is sick. I can't even lie. You can't look down upon these cars, man. Yes, there's a little bit less power, but to make up for that, you've got the four-wheel drive system. And you can actually make it to 60 a little bit quicker than you do in the C63s. I believe these cars actually do 0 to 60 in about, I believe these cars do 0 to 60 in about 4.2 seconds. But guys, if I missed anything in this video, please check the description. I'm going to leave loads of specs and also the full spec of this specific car that I'm sat in right now, all in the description. I'm here to give you my honest opinion, and it's absolutely sick. I was one of those people, man. I was like, I'm going for the C63 over the C43 because of the V8, the extra power. But man, if I went for one of these, I still wouldn't be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Make sure you come and get this car because it's not going to be around for long. And until next time, see you soon.